President Trump is keeping up the pressure on General Motors, urging that company to either sell or reopen its plant in Lordstown, Ohio. The plant shut down operations nearly 2 weeks ago, with more than 1,000 people losing their jobs. John Roberts reporting live from the White House. John?
And that plant, according to GM, was closed down because there just isn't a whole lot of interest in the Chevy Cruze, which was the car that was being produced there. But the president has criticized the GM CEO, Mary Barra, before, and he was at it again yesterday, taking to Twitter to say, quote, "Just spoke to Mary Barra, CEO of General Motors, about the Lordstown, Ohio plant. I am not happy that it is closed when everything else in our country is booming. I asked her to sell it or do something quickly. She blamed the UAW union. I don't care. I just want it open." The president also didn't like what the head of the union local in Ohio, David Green, had to say when asked on Fox if union workers were going to stick with the president in next year's election. Green pointed not only to the GM closing, but losing a Kmart distribution center and a hospital closeout as well. Listen here.
You know, I think that's really just a matter of opinion. Some folks I know have switched gears, right, and thought, you know, when he came here and said all these great things, that, you know, they were on board with that. People are starting to wake up, you know, but part of it's ego too, right? I mean, if that's their guy, they're going to stick with him.
The president then lashed out at Green on Twitter, also lashed out against Fox News, which had him on, and then took on both GM and the union for waiting until October to decide the final status of the Lordstown plant. The president tweeting General Motors and the UAW are going to start talks in September, October. Why wait? Start them now. I want jobs to stay in the USA and want Lordstown, Ohio, one of the best economies in our history, open or sold to a company who will open it up fast. Car companies are all coming back to the U.S., so is everyone else. We now have the best economy in the world, the envy of all. Get that big, beautiful plant in Ohio open now. Close a plant in China or Mexico, where you invested so heavily pre-Trump, but not in the USA. Bring jobs home. Ohio is a huge state, obviously, for the president in the 2020 election year. If he goes into that campaign suffering big job losses in Ohio, it could give a Democratic challenger an opening. Kellyanne Conway earlier today expressing an urgency to do something to save jobs. Listen here.
He wants them to come to the table before that. The urgency the president feels is that he wants the auto companies to continue to stay here and return here, because he knows that that is a bedrock part of the U.S. economy and continue to be. So when you tell a businessman, non-politician, we're going to meet 7 months from now, he's just saying, can we accelerate and have a meeting sometimes faster?
In the middle of the week, we should point out the president is headed to Ohio. He's going to Lima, to a plant that produces the Abrams tank. While that's defense contracting and not automobiles, it is a plant where UAW workers are employed.
Right. The U.S. auto industry is, generally speaking, facing some obstacles.
It is. You know, the Lordstown plant didn't have anything to do with the tariffs that the president is considering. It was because the Chevy Cruze wasn't the most popular car GM's ever produced. But this idea of looming tariffs certainly is giving a lot of heartburn to people in the automotive industry. The president was delivered a report by the Commerce Department, what's called a Section 232 assessment as to whether imported cars and imported car parts represent a national security risk to the United States. He's about a month into the 90-day window to consider whether or not to impose a tariff of some 25%. There are a lot of people who are worried that the president will do that. It would increase the price of cars being sold here in the United States and increase the price of some domestic cars, too, because a lot of them use foreign car parts. Back in July of last year, the Center for Automotive Research did a study that found automotive demand will fall by between almost 500,000 and 2 million vehicles as a result of the implementation of tariffs or quotas. Declining demand is associated with employment losses ranging from over 82,000 to nearly 750,000 jobs, and a $6.4 billion to $62 billion decline in U.S. gross domestic product. You can see there's a wide range there. They don't know exactly what would happen, but the president's still got 60 days to decide what to do on that front.